Hey there guys, welcome back to AFC Game by Game. This is my review of Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Arsenal 1. I can't hide my disappointment. I'm more angry than disappointed with how Arsenal have played today. It was a game where we definitely should have got 3 points, given how well we played in that opening 30 minutes, given how comfortable it was, given how easily Brighton made this game for us in that first half. And the fact we're finishing this game struggling to keep hold of a point is bitterly frustrating. The reality is, you have to win these games if you want to finish in the top 4, and it's very easy to overreact after results such as this. A 1-1 draw away from home against a team that we have to be beating really does put a lot of thoughts into your minds. It really gets you questioning whether this team is capable of finishing the top 4. And the worst possible position we can be in is, I believe, 2 points off top 4 if Chelsea beat Watford this evening. So we're very much still in the mix. So there's no point overreacting too much after tonight's result, but you look at it and you think other teams will go to a place like Brighton and they'll pick up points. The worrying thing for me is United have picked up 2 wins on the bounce now. They're 6 points behind us, and it feels like a game of whoever slips up least between us and Chelsea at the minute. They're the 2 teams, us and Chelsea, competing for that top 4 spot at the minute. United get a few more results, they put themselves into the mix as well. So the more we slip up, the more difficult it gets for us. And we don't have to make it this difficult. That's what's so frustrating about this. We don't have to make it this hard on ourselves. Because that opening 30 minutes, it was unbelievably comfortable, and we should have been about 2 or 3 goals up. Credit to Brighton in that second half. I mean, they pressed really well, they made things difficult for us, and they had a very good few chances to go ahead in this game. But the opening 30 minutes, the Aubameyang lofted ball, which was a great save by the Brighton keeper. The goal itself, which was brilliant, great work from Lacazette. And then that chance he had where Aubameyang was one-on-one, and a brilliant save from the keeper as well. But we should have gone in with a lot more intensity after that first goal. That's what's frustrating, and I think it's been the real telling factor of Arsenal this season. We get a goal, we walk about a little bit, we make things far too lackadaisical, I think would be the right word to describe it. We are very lethargic. We don't have the intensity. We play as if we're about 3 goals up, which you can't do in the Premier League, because teams like Brighton, any team will punish you. Any team has the capabilities to make things difficult for you in this league, and we should know that by now. And we didn't take our chances. We weren't intense enough when we needed to be. We've given away a ridiculously sloppy goal. And the fact we dedicated so many players forward for that corner on the Brighton goal is ridiculous in itself. We had Koscielny come back into the team today, who's 33 years old, just come back from that injury. He's got barely any pace about him in a minute whatsoever. You've got Socrates, who is our most pacey defender, up there for the corner as well. You've got Lichtsteiner, who's got very little pace. So tracking back, the only one that seemed to be back was Lichtsteiner, who was, susceptible for the goal as well, heading it on to the player to eventually go on and score. But I think in defence of Lichtsteiner, he's got to make that header. Unfortunately, didn't make it in time. But Ozil and Guendouzi not tracking the runner as well, very poor on their behalf. But that defence, I was relatively happy with it, I've got to say, given how makeshift things have been at the back in recent weeks, where we've seen Xhaka playing at left centre-back. I was pleased to see we had players in their actual positions today. I was glad that we had a right-back, 2 centre-halves, and I thought, for the most part, in that opening half, it worked well, but we really, after conceding a goal, we looked so susceptible to damage, which happened a lot throughout the course of this game, and we're lucky that we've only conceded the 1 today. We're lucky that we've got a point out of this game. But I thought Koscielny was better for the time that he was on the pitch, but of course he's still getting up to speed. I'm really worried about that Liverpool game. Really worried. But I think we've got to go into that game with no real expectations. It's going to be really tough, really difficult. But if we could get a result in that game, that would be fantastic. And I think after today, we kind of have to. We've got to get something out of that game. Thankfully, Torreira's come through this game unscathed. But I'm questioning a lot of Emery's decisions today, and for the most part, Emery's been brilliant for us this season, and he's restored my faith in Arsenal, in the way we've played, and I've been really excited by how rapid the progression has been throughout this season. But I've got to look at what he did do wrong today, and I think it's only fair to criticise him. I mean, I'm very easygoing when it comes to praising him, but the substitutions I thought today were not quite right, and as well, I think the starting lineup was wrong again. It seems to be a 4-3-1-2, so Ozil playing in the hole, but behind Aubameyang and Lacazette, which seemed to work really well against Burnley. I thought it worked well in that opening 30 minutes as well. Lacazette held up the ball brilliant today. I thought he was really good in that striking role. Aubameyang peeling off him as well, and I'm amazed that Lacazette continuously comes off, whether it be in the 60th or the 70th minute, because he is one of our most lethal players going forward, whether that's holding up the ball and providing assists, But it's amazing to see him going off in that manner, especially after he went off in the game against Burnley as well. And he must just be scratching his head wondering what he's got to do to stay in the starting 11. It's exactly what happened when Arsene Wenger had him in the team last year. He'd continuously go off on the 60th, 70th minute mark. So I feel bad for him because he is one of our most lethal goal scorers. And when we need goals, to take him off is perplexing, and then bring on someone like Maitland-Niles or Ramsey or Iwobi. Ramsey, I think, should have started this game in place of Guendouzi, simply because I really like Guendouzi. I'm a big advocate of his, but said it before, I'll say it again, he's 19 years old and we're playing him like a seasoned veteran. He is not quite at a level yet where we're relying on him, we should be relying on him so heavily. I really like him and I think he's going to progress really well in this club, but we've got Aaron Ramsey on the bench. Yes, he's leaving us and his future's uncertain, but the fact we're continuously bringing him on shows that we do kind of need him to be starting games. And I've got no doubts, in my mind at least, that he should be starting in that game against Liverpool. What Emery thinks is another matter. But again, it's... I'm really wondering what's going on in the club at the minute, because we saw Ozil go off as well in that second half. Yes, he didn't track the runner, but he's one of our most creative players, and we just lacked creativity in that second half. We were clueless for ideas, very, very inept going forward. So to miss Ozil, to see him go off, just makes me wonder what's going to happen with him now. And it's weird considering he started against Burnley, had a really good game, goes off today. I have no idea what's going through his head. It's just odd. Our team is in such a reshuffle at the minute. But someone like Guendouzi, we just can't be relying on him. We've either got to invest in the January transfer window to bring in a replacement for someone like Ozil or Ramsey that's going to be continuously starting for us. But if we continue to play Guendouzi, then we're not going to dominate the midfield in the way that we want to. Jack was pivotal to that today. Thought he had a good game. I mean, the most frustrating thing is I can talk about individuals, but the reality is we didn't get the simple things right today. Couldn't string two passes together. Maitland-Niles, when he came on, just did some good things, but then it ended up being poor. But it wasn't just, the players that people like to criticise quite easily. It's every player couldn't string two passes together when we were under the cosh, when we needed a goal, when we needed to really test Brighton, and we didn't do that today, which is unbelievably frustrating. The fact that we needed a goal and we barely tested them. The only opportunity that we had was kind of that Iwobi chance where it ricocheted off his shin and then almost went in. But apart from that, I can't think of one clear-cut chance we had. Lichtstein, I don't think he's good enough to be starting a right back, and in fairness to him, he probably came to the club thinking that he wouldn't be playing as much. But Bellerin is a massive loss, and we can't be relying on Lichtstein to play as many games as he is, especially at 34 years old. Koscielny at 33. I mean, it's an experienced defence today. You've got Lichtstein at 34, Koscielny 33, Socrates 30. It's a defence that you would expect to do better. But as well, there are tiring and weary legs in there, especially in the December period where we're having to play so many games. We do miss Rob Holding. We miss Bellerin. We miss Mustafi, and we really miss Danny Welbeck. He's doing perfect for a game like today. So we need to invest in January. It goes without saying. We really, really need to invest in January. Our squad is threadbare. Look at the players we had on the bench today. Joe Willock, as if he's going to come on and change the game miraculously. That's, not to criticise Joe Willock, but we need more senior figures on the bench, and we don't have that at a minute, and it's worrying. But the top four, despite my overreaction, is very much alive still. As I say, if Chelsea win, we're only 2 points off it. If they fail to win, if they lose, then we're still in the top four. So the thing that's frustrating is the Tottenham victory means nothing when we played so well in that game. We're a good few points behind them now. I think you've got to write off finishing above them, which is not a good place to be in. But if we can win a trophy, then even if we do finish below them, we'll have had a better season than them. That's presuming we finish in the top four as well. But it does frustrate me because we did so well in that Tottenham game, and it's kind of similar to when we beat Leicester a few seasons ago, and you think we're going to push on and win the league. I felt like after the Tottenham game we should push on and get above them. We haven't done that. If anything, we've stalled, and we've kind of hit a bit of a barren run of form. But we can't slip up anymore. City lost today as well. I wouldn't have thought we'd even be contemplating finishing above them this season. But had we won today, we'd have been 4 points off them. So we've put ourselves in a sticky situation. But we're halfway through the season. 19 games left to play. Let's not overreact. But it's hard not to feel anything but disappointment and anger today. Really, really, really angry with our performance today, because we should have won it. Really should have won it. But Liverpool next. that'd be fun. Please drop a like on the video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to AFC Game by Game if you're new to the channel. And as always, I'll speak to you very, very soon. See you later, guys, and I hope you had a great Christmas.